low. Now, I like doing the indices. This is a CPI index. It goes all the way back to 1913. Comes in at 320.795, a new all-time high. Pretty much happens every month. The index itself makes new highs. And if we look at core, which started in 1957, it comes in at 326.43, and you guessed it, another all-time forever high. We see that yields are moving down a bit because we have made progress. What the irony here is the rearview mirror, those rates were so much smaller 4 to 5 years in those interim periods at a time where the renewed Fed look on inflation due to potentially tariffs. We went a year and a half, Joe, where we really made no progress, but yet the Fed seemed to pretend we did. Now we're making real progress, and all anyone could talk about is inflation, inflation, inflation. Back to you.
For us to get a not an all-time high on those indices, wouldn't that have to be? That'd be a fluke, right? That'd be like buying a nice suit would be less. That'd be like gold. Well, gold does go down occasionally, but that's not going to happen. That cost of living always goes up, does it not?
Always, always. If you look at that chart from either 1913 or 1957, pretty much every month is a new all-time high, other than very few. Every once in a while, you get a bit of a ladder effect, but for the most part, it's a 45-degree line up, and it does really underscore the compounding nature of inflation.
You're a hawk. You're a hawk, and you're a Scrooge, and you never want the Fed to cut, and you like building up dry powder, and you always want to wait. But if you were the slightest bit dovish, if you had major concerns about whether there's some weakness coming from the uncertainty caused by the trade war, and you had basically no inflation, he could end up being called Too Late Pal. I mean, that could end up being a prescient moniker.
Yeah. I'd rather put my faith in, at least for the moment, that the market and the investors that make up the market are comfortable. They're comfortable at this point in time. I personally don't see any reason to ease. And I think that deficits is a much bigger issue on rates.
Right. Have you ever seen any reason to ease?
Have you ever seen a president who wants to?
Rick wants to get back to 8% on a 10-year. That's when we're comfortable. 7 or 8% on a 10-year. That's
good for retirees.
No, it is good. It is just not good for everything else. All right. We got a guest. Rick, join us now. Ellen Zentner, Morgan Stanley Wealth Management Chief Economic Strategist. Also Roger Ferguson, who also is a Scrooge and never wants to cut. Former Fed Vice Chair. I'll get to you in just a second. I threw down the gauntlet for Roger. That's not really true, Roger, but I'm sure even with this, what is positive news on inflation, you still think the Fed needs to wait to see more of what's happening.
No, I agree completely. I don't mind being called a Scrooge by you, Joe. It's okay. So, look, the answer is the core inflation number has moved sideways at 2.8. That's not exactly moving directly towards 2. Somewhat better news on so-called headline for sure. But I think the wait-and-see posture at this stage is still merited until we're sure that we're getting progress and that the uncertainty about tariffs starts to recede a little bit.
Well, if Paul Volcker is the biggest Scrooge of all time, probably. So you probably should take that as a compliment. If there's ever a Mount Rushmore of Fed chiefs, he'd be there. Ellen, this is a good number. Are you happy?
I think, look, this number, you're going to hate this. This number doesn't matter because the tariff effects are going to really start to show up in next month's number.
Next month? Oh, okay.
The Fed probably is going to cut this year. And I understand the wait and see, but you've got 3% growth last year. We're probably slowing to around 1% growth this year. And so inflation, they're going to have an easier time saying this is a one-off level shift in prices. And they're going to be able to look beyond that. And that's what they really want to do.
Is that because you think the jobs market is going to decline as a result, or you think there's just the GDP?
I think there's going to be some more slack, and there should be more slack in the labor market if we're slowing to 1% growth this year.
Why are we slowing? uncertainty, all the things the tariffs did?
All
Was it
of
self-inflicted?
the things.
Yeah.
But the whole first half of the year is so volatile because you've got incredible pull forward of demand. So you have this explosive private demand, final domestic demand in the first quarter. You're probably going to have flat to negative demand in the second quarter only because you pulled so much demand forward. So average the two, and then the Fed will say, okay, we have a clear picture. You will get some more slack in the labor market. Look at how the tourism numbers are off so sharply. I mean, Canada is off sharply. You've got planes that are not full coming over from Europe. And so what happens when we start to hire for leisure and hospitality jobs in the summer, and we're hiring, but not as much as we normally do? That's negative. You're going to have some slack building in the labor market. It's going to be easier for this Fed to go ahead and cut, but not right now.
Well, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they did cut right now, though, would it? If you say they're eventually going to do it because something happens that's a negative, you'd want to take the penicillin early, wouldn't you?
This is what happens when you have board decisions, right?
Right, but
and
you think they should? You would not be opposed to cutting right now? You think if they're going to cut later?
If I were sitting there, I would be like, why would we cut? Things are okay. But I would absolutely have that forecast of cutting this year. I mean, when you make decisions by committee, you have to get a consensus.
Yep.
When things aren't falling apart, it's hard to get consensus.
Well, we'll never
but when
get
the
Roger
unemployment rate starts moving, when it's clear that growth is slowing, they'll look through the tariffs and they will cut.
You agree with all that, Roger?
Look, I think there's a logic to the argument. I am not so convinced that they are going to cut this year. I hear the reasoning, and I can't say it's totally wrong. But they still have to keep an eye on inflation. And inflation keeps moving sideways at the core level, call it 2.7, 2.8. Doesn't feel to me like it's close enough to 2. We're not going to get, a real falling out of bed. Labor markets might ease a little bit, but we're already at something that looks like full employment. So I would say it's going to be wait and see meeting by meeting, and I'm not sure I'd pencil in 1 or 2 cuts just yet. It may well happen, but based on what I see today, I don't think it would be the end of the world if they're moving sideways for the whole year, if inflation is in fact staying roughly at core where it is today.
But here's what they're going to say. They're going to be able to say, and I absolutely, Roger, if they end up not cutting this year, I won't be surprised at all. But here's what they're going to be able to say. We're not easing. We're not cutting to stimulate the economy. Just the economy has slowed dramatically this year, and we don't need to have rates this high. So it won't be easing, it'll just be cutting.
Do either of you think
that's a subtle distinction between easing and cutting. It's a subtle distinction.
All right, guys, so CPI just came out. Came out as expected, actually slightly better than expected. 2.3% year over year versus 2.4% expected. So obviously not seeing any tariff effects this early. Month over month, 0.2% versus 0.3%. And core CPI month over month, 0.2% versus 0.3%. So there definitely is a narrative in which the Fed should be thinking about cutting, at least in June, which is the next Fed meeting, but they likely won't, especially if the unemployment numbers aren't drastically higher. So good news for inflation, but they're going to cite, tariff on uncertainty, et cetera, whatnot. We're still at this 5,800 range on the S&P 500. We are now digging into that monthly fair value gap there. Someone mentioned, where is the dip that Z talked about last week? So my position is pretty firm on this. As I said, I don't think we're going back to these lows, not without any sort of visual material effect from the tariffs on the ground. I don't think we visit 4,800 on the S&P. That was almost 20% down. That a 20% drop is pricing in a mild recession. And with the 90-day pause on China, I don't think that we get a mild recession in the summer. I think that based on yields and the fact that yields are out of control, I do think that it's possible we get a recession later, Q3, Q4, maybe even 2026, but I don't think that it's going to come this summer with a potential. I wouldn't call it a resolution, but for sure a softened stance on China. Also, the person that's asking me where is the dip that I talked about, I'm talking about a pullback, and I'm saying that pullbacks are buying opportunities. I am not in the camp that we visit these lows. I'm in the camp that we see a pullback. I was before crossing above these highs here. I was hedging with the possibility that we fill that gap right there, right? Obviously still possible, but with the news over the weekend, the 90-day pause over the weekend, that was music to the market's ears, right? At least to get above this consolidation level. But, don't forget that, wow, United Healthcare taking a beating there. Don't forget that, just because the S&P 500 pops above the 200-day, pops above this internal liquidity level, we've seen this time and time again where you have an internal liquidity level and you pop above the 200-day moving average, you can still fall, right? This can still be a fake out. So, for me, as I said before, I'm not that bullish on this year giving us another 20% gain on the S&P 500. We're still down on the year. Even if we get back to all-time highs, we will be at 0% for the year to date on the S&P 500, right? That is not really a bullish year. Now, it's bullish for those of us that ended up buying stocks here, and I'm thankful that we ended up buying stocks here, that's for sure. But it's not, if you didn't do any buying and you're just holding your portfolio and you held through this and then came back up, you're up 0% this year, even if we get back to all-time highs, right? The only time that you're up this year is if you actually bought stocks at those lows. Romezy, what's going on? Killicam, what's going on? Hit that like button. Yes, hit that like button. I bought the top. What now? Which top? Back here in February? You just sit on your hands, bro. You're welcome, Sonar. I wonder if it's hard to find this stream, because I did face a technical issue before and I had to restart it, and it seemed like some people got lost in the shuffle. There might be a double dip. Yeah, could be, but I don't think we go back to this low. I think there might be a double dip like that. I don't think we're going all the way down there, in my opinion. If you were live on TikTok, I don't have a TikTok, unfortunately. This guy incessantly keeps asking what's your plan with your hedge, which means that this guy didn't buy any stocks and just decided to short the market, something that I told you should not be doing. It's so funny how a lot of people are not excited to buy stocks, but they're so excited to short the market. I think there might be a short opportunity here on NQ. I want to see if we can get down to data lows there. We took yesterday's high. I wonder if there's a short here. Okay, hang on. We took yesterday's high. That's buy side liquidity. We didn't take London low yet. We didn't take data high though. And we have SMT at the lows here. Interesting. Hmm. We haven't yet taken data highs. Thanks for ASML and Amazon. Hell yeah. Hit the thumbs up for ASML and Amazon. If we get rid of this SMT, then I think a short is in the works. But right now, it looks like the market might want data highs. Trust your gut? No, dude, you don't trade off your gut. The fuck? Was there China news? Yeah, over the weekend. Yes, we have SMT right here. Higher low, lower low from data lows. The 830 lows, which was the CPI low. Right there. Fear and greedy index at greed. That indicator is bullshit and doesn't matter. It's for people who don't know how to trade. Apple's still down 19% from highs. Yeah, but it was really attractive at 170. It's funny how everybody wants to buy stocks now. There was nothing wrong with stocks 3 weeks ago. What is the data high? The CPI high. I'm looking at this right now to see if the market, even though we swept yesterday's highs with CPI, I want to see if that sweep of liquidity holds as a sweep of liquidity, or if we go back and retest, if we go back and sweep CPI highs. So what I'm looking for here is a break of structure. Why Chem Carson think 4,800 is coming? I think he thinks a lot lower than 4,800 is coming, but not now. His thesis is that we go back to all-time high first. What is SMT divergence? You can look up ChatGPT, bro. Start searching this stuff. Rustum, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Why do you never cover REITs? Because tech investing will make you rich. Any thoughts on Dutch Bros? No, I don't think about Dutch Bros. Why are you wearing sunglasses inside? Because your mom's skin is so pale. It blinds my eyes. She's translucent. Because there are huge lights in front of me, and it's 5 in the morning where I'm at. So I don't like to burn my eyes with the lights. So I'm looking right now to see if there's a potential short here, guys. This right here is manipulation after CPI. We took yesterday's high. Are you a Mason? Yes, Master Mason, 33rd degree. What you know about that? How much money do you need to have before you went full trader and leave your job? If you watch my interview on Words of Wisdom, I talk about my story. But I don't, it's not an amount of money. It's a level of consistency. I was making good money in tech. So it was actually very hard for me to leave my job. To be honest. I had to make a lot of money trading in order to match what I was making in tech. But at a certain point, it's about consistency, right? If you're able to extract 6 figures from the market year after year, and you've done that for 2 to 4 years. But you know what? Honestly, like I say this to people all the time. Trading with a job is so much better. Like, especially if you have a family, right? You have good health care, you have a stable job, you're not worried about just making money from trading, which can be very stressful if you have a family, right? Like trading can be an amazing side income. So if you're making, I don't know, 120K a year or 200K a year or 80K a year, imagine supplementing that with an additional 80K a year or an additional 120K a year just from trading while keeping your job, keeping your health care, having a steady paycheck. Trading with a job is so underrated. I make 400K in tech. Shit, they're giving out MBA salaries now. Why data high need to be taken to short? I didn't say it needs to be taken. I said it's a possibility. So you can't short until you either have a break of structure or data highs are taken. But it's hard to take as serious when you have a job. I completely disagree. I completely disagree. You're trading because you love it. If you don't love it, there are other ways to make money. The fuck are you doing trading? Go start a business. Go start a vending machine business or something. Like, trading is not for people who are just looking for a hustle. You have to love trading. So if you're finding it hard to take it serious, then it's because you don't love it. Can you please let us know in Discord when to buy these Mag 7 stuff? Bro, the amount of Discord alerts that I sent through this whole ordeal is wild. Tesla 220, Uber below 60. I sent an alert for I'm looking at Pepsi soon. I didn't enter Pepsi yet. Meta. Let's see. More analysis, more analysis. We have to go back because I sent them so long ago. Apple, Google, Amazon. What are you talking about, bro? SOXL, QQQ, SPY, NVIDIA. Here's all the proof. Everything is timestamped. Next buy in Google, 147. That was March 28th. I don't know how much more you want me to send out in there. It's wild. People think that the stock market is like the supermarket. Like it opens and you could just buy shit every day. No, you have to take advantage when the market gives you opportunities. How's the CPI affecting the market today? I never look at data on the same day as how is it affecting the market that day. I'm just looking for where's the manipulation. and then trying to trade the other side of it. So this is yesterday's high right here. We took yesterday's high, manipulated up, and I want to see if we get a break of structure to the downside and retest, or do we head up for the 830 highs? That's what I'm looking for. And right now the market is just stagnant. So they just want you to make the trades for them. Yeah, I mean, there's a level of that, Taryn, and that's fine. Like, you know, I tell people that I'm more interested in educating you. I run an education service. I don't run an alert service, right? Like, I'm not interested in people just trying to copy and paste without learning, because you're never going to, this is a lifelong skill, whether it's trading or investing, that you want to have with you for the rest of your life, right? And if all you're doing is trying to copy someone, for one, it's very hard to make money because you're not an expert in executing and setting stops and taking profits. You barely know how to work your brokerage, right? So a lot of times you'll see something late and then you'll chase price, and then the play will be over and now you're down or you're not up as much. It's really like the copy and paste aspect that people are looking for is really a turnoff for me. I would much rather teach people how to trade. And hopefully at one point they won't need me. They won't need us at some point, right? Like, they're able to trade on their own. But you do make a good point that I think people are just looking for me to make trades or buys for them. But I don't have a time machine. So if I'm, hammering my fist on the table saying, this is an opportunity that you're not going to get probably for a while. We have Nvidia down 45%, Apple down 40%, Amazon down 35%. Like, even if you buy here, what's the worst that can happen over the long term, right? You're getting a blue chip at 40% off. When was the last time blue chips were 40% off? So yes, they want me to buy for them or trade for them or hold their hand. It's fine if you want to watch someone and learn. I trade live every day in the Discord so people can watch and learn. But I also don't have a time machine. How many monthly Discord subscribers do you have? I think there's like 1,000 people there. Somewhere around that. All right, guys. I'm just waiting to see if we can break structure here out of this consolidation. Market opens in 24 minutes. I'm sure he pays his other analysts too. Yeah, they don't work for me. I mean, they don't work for free. Do you have any tutorials on how to trade like you? Yeah, I have free courses on YouTube. What win ratio do you have in your trades? Win ratio is a bullshit metric. But my win rate is consistently between 60 and 70%. Some months 50, but win ratio is bullshit. You can win most of your trades and lose money. If you're concerned about win ratio over R multiple, then you're definitely a noob that wants to feel good about booking wins, but isn't looking at profitability. Profitability, i.e. R multiple, much more important than win ratio. One of my friends is a very profitable trader, and his win ratio is less than 30%. Okay, let's see. Market is going to open in 20 minutes. What if I don't want to learn but invest wisely? How can you invest wisely if you don't learn anything? You don't have to day trade, but to invest, you still got to learn. Yeah, his R multiple hovers around 5R. He trades mostly turtle soups, which has a very low win rate, but a very high risk to reward. Very, very high R multiple. Yeah, of course it's all about RR. What's turtle soup? Bro, use the internet. The same question that you're typing in the chat box, just put it in Grok or ChatGPT and start reading. Do you watch hockey? No. Yeah, of course your win rate is more important. Of course your win rate is more important. Like if someone wins, let's say someone wins I don't know, 7 out of 10 trades, right? They won 7 for 10 trades, right? That doesn't mean that they're profitable. Because on the 7 trades, what if they made $50 a trade and they're up $350? And on the 3 trades that they lost, what if they lost 1,000 each? It's simple math, right? 7 trades, they made $350. 3 trades, they lost $3,000. They're not profitable even though they won most of their trades. So win rate means nothing. It just makes noobs feel better. No serious trader looks at win rate. None. You look at your risk reward. your max loss per day, you look at your R multiple, you look at your profit factor, you look at your expectancy, nobody looks at win rate. Took 4 years to become profitable. Around the same for me. I would say that it took me 3 years to get to a point where I was inconsistently profitable, if that makes sense. Meaning I wasn't losing. I wasn't losing as in having a deep red year or deep red months. But I was hovering in this like break even, kind of winning, not losing a lot. You know what I mean? Like this kind of a purgatory phase. That took me 3 years to get to. But it felt good because I was able to control my emotions, and no longer was I just wasting thousands and thousands of dollars not knowing what I was doing. I was in control. But my risk management and my holding my profit, holding my winners to the fullest extent of my trade, that wasn't sharpened, right? So I would exit early, break even on trades too much, but I wasn't like draining myself into a big hole anymore. And that is what I call a break even trader. And to go from a losing trader to a break-even trader is such a big step that you have to recognize it. And most people, I don't think they recognize that. I think they want to go from a losing trader to an ultra winning trader, and that's just not the natural progression. You go from a losing trader to a break-even trader to a profitable trader, a profitable trader to an ultra profitable trader who really has no problem holding their winners to the fullest extent, has no problem letting the trade play out, doesn't allow any losses to affect him or her, is okay walking away from the computer if they don't find a trade, is okay ending the day red if nothing is setting up. Right? It does take a while. So it took me 3 years to be a somewhat profitable trader. And then maybe another 2 years to be a profitable trader. And then another couple years to really lock it in and start booking those 6-figure years, I would say. Is going from losing trader to break-even trader harder than break-even to profitable? Yes, absolutely. That's the hardest bridge to cross. Going from a losing trader to a break-even trader. Once you're a break-even trader, you're not tilting a lot, right? You're in control of your emotions most of the time. Your strategy is refined. You know, you're already journaling. You're already looking at your stats. You know what to trade. You might take, you still might take stupid trades here and there that hurt your profitability. You might tilt every once in a while. You move your stop to break even too much. But those things are a lot easier to fix than someone who's coming in and is just consistently losing and doesn't know if it's his strategy or her psychology or a mix of both, doesn't know what strategy to trade, goes down the revenge trading path, feels sick to their stomach from losing. Like, overcoming that is a lot harder than doing some minor fixes to go from break even to profitable, if that makes sense. I did much better the first 10 years of trading. I was always profitable. I'm not anymore since AI entered the market. I highly doubt that. I highly, highly doubt that that's a real story. Or that that's an accurate diagnosis. Highly doubt that. Look, I may not look like I'm that old. I'm old. I remember when E-Trade first came out. And I remember how hard it was before to place orders through a phone. And I remember that it costs $100 that a bank would scam you just to enter a trade, just to buy some shares. There's no fucking way that technology is the cause that you're not profitable. Technology makes it a lot easier to be profitable. We have access to charts like this, robust charts like this for free. You have access to free trading platforms like Public or Robinhood, commission-free trades, which don't eat into your profit. You can exit your position whenever you want. You don't have to wait all day for someone to answer your call if your position is losing, right? This used to be a thing. Your position would be down. Your position would be down so much, and you're trying to call the bank to close your position. And sometimes they wouldn't answer the phone on purpose because they're getting a million other calls. You can't tell me that you were profitable in that environment and are not profitable in an environment where you have more control than ever. Either that tells me that you got lucky in your early years, did maybe a lot of buy and holding, and then tried to switch to high frequency day trading when technology came around, and because you're not trained, you were not successful at it. But no freaking way is technology the reason that you're not profitable. No way. It was so much harder to trade before. It's just because you haven't trained yourself enough, right? Like, I know people in my dad's era, some of my dad's friends and acquaintances who made a shit ton of money in the stock market, but it's not because they were good at trading. They came into money at the right time. They bought a shitload of stocks at the right time. They sat on it and exited the market when they doubled their fortune. It doesn't mean they're a good trader. Wow, price is just sitting here. Okay, 10 minutes we open, and hopefully price moves beyond this silly range that we're in. I'm looking for a liquidity sweep or break of structure. So gold is looking interesting here. You need luck in trading. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You need refinement, backtesting, journaling, improving, all while maintaining bankroll management so you don't lose your ass in the process. Absolutely not. You don't need luck. Can you get lucky on a trade once in a blue moon? Yeah, of course. We've all entered 10 contracts when we meant to enter one, and it ends up working out instantly, and then you exit out of your position like crazy. But absolutely not. You don't need luck in trading. People only say that because they don't want to put in the work. Anything that requires work turns people off. They want easy money. The people that say that are the same people that play slots in Vegas. Yeah, paranoid AI. That's very well said. He said, luck can help you on a few trades, but long-term, no way. He's absolutely right. I think gold. Let me look at gold real quick. Oh, shit. We have 3 equal lows on the weekly. Look at these perfect equal lows here on gold. Yeah, those are going to get murked. I think gold can get down here. 3085-ish. Gold is on the table for a short. You could see this potential market maker sell model here. But I would like it to go higher into this 15-minute. I'm going to set an alert on gold up here at 3256. And if it gets up there, I will consider something like this on gold. That's what I'm looking at right now. Yeah, if we take a look at the dollar though, I think as the dollar drops back to retest that 100 level, because there's an inverse relationship, right? Dollar's going to drop to this 15-minute gap. And I think with the dollar dropping, gold can rally to my area of interest. And then I will eye potential short if the dollar can find support here, if that makes sense. So if we look at the hourly on the dollar, you can see that it's now in an uptrend, right? So if it pulls back, that will allow gold to rally. For a potential short to Asia low first. So that's what I'm looking at. About how many trades do you take a week? I don't know. When I find them. I trade every day. So I would say 0 to 2 trades a day. Sometimes 0, sometimes 1. Sometimes 1, sometimes 2. Did you blow up a what? Did you blow up accounts as a beginner? Never. I've never blown an account. But also blowing up accounts is an arbitrary metric. That it's stupid. Because like if you're making a lot of money, right? If you're making a lot of money and say your account is $150,000 and you're keeping your size small while learning how to trade and you're losing 1,000 every couple days or 1,000, every day, then you start making a few wins and you're taking losses. It's hard to blow up 150,000 or 200,000 account. But if you're just starting out and you're like, I only have $1,000 to fund my account, and you fund it with 1,000, it's very easy to blow that up, especially if you're trying to go for quick wins or you try to double it up trading options. So just because you don't quote unquote blow up an account doesn't mean that you're a good trader. It just means that you have more capital. So I think this metric of blowing up an account is retarded. It's like, okay, if someone starts off with $1,000 and someone starts off with $100,000, one person is going to be a lot closer to blowing up an account. It doesn't make them a worse trader than the person who has more money. You see what I'm saying? So don't let that get you down. Don't be discouraged by arbitrary metrics, right? Like, don't make it hard on yourself. Trading is hard enough. Just start journaling your trades, start backtesting your trades, start keeping stats, make adjustments. Keep your job. Did you see coin pre-market? Yeah, I was assigned coin at 192. That was one of the stocks that I actually ran the wheel on. Back in March 21st, I got assigned the 195 puts on coin for 192.60. So I have shares of coin here. All right, market just opened, guys. Let's see what's what. What indicators do you keep? I don't trade with indicators. I just draw my shit. So we swept liquidity above yesterday's high. We have SMT right there. I wonder if we go for data high here. When news come, rewind it, bro. That's 830 high right there. What I would like to see is one of them take data high and the other one not. That would be ideal. Oh, we now have bearish SMT. Yeah, SMT all over the place. Divergence all over the place. See, lower high, higher high. I think we get a good trade today. RTY looks like a potentially good short. We have this new week opening gap down here. Yesterday we swept that liquidity. Nothing confirmed. Nothing confirmed just yet. All right, I would like to see NQ take data high and ES not. We now have a breaker right here. The risk to reward is kind of ass. I'm going to take this long to data high. Shit. $21,065.75. Let's see if we can get there. Up 430, guys. Hell yeah. Let's go. If we put the nut there, we'll get there. I'm not going to be a dick for a take. I'm taking this. We came one tick. Actually, we hit it, but my broker didn't execute. Let's see. We hit 21,065.50, and the high was 21,065.75. So we came within one tick. Hell yeah. Booked around $800 there. Quick $800 to data high. That's how we do it, baby. That is how we do it, baby. How many of y'all caught that data high long on NQ? How many of y'all caught that data long on NQ? Fuck yeah. Worked out perfect. Michelle. I can't believe we came one tick short. That would have. I wonder, because now we have relative equal highs, I wonder if it gets swept one more time. I'm going to wait until 9:50. And if this gets swept and ES doesn't take data high, then I think there's a short. On ES, Brian, ES is much weaker, bro. You placed the nut too high. How can you trade without indicators? Why do you need indicators? Price is your only indicator. All right, we swept data high. All right, now what I want to see is, does ES take data high or leave SMT? So we have a potential power of 3 here. You see all this consolidation, manipulation to data high. That also took yesterday's high. I wonder if the drawn liquidity is eventually this weekly fair value gap on NQ. Not today, but eventually. I think NQ can do something like this. Oh shit, gold never got to my level, man. I was hoping it comes up here before tanking. All right. We'll find another trade soon. We will find another trade soon. And for those asking, I trade live every day in the Discord. I don't go live every day on YouTube. That would drive me mental. What you think about Tesla? Thoughts. I think thoughts about Tesla. Wonder if we get a shorty right now. Let's see if we can book a second win of the day. We have SMT at data highs. NQ took it. ES didn't. This time I might short ES. Very difficult to see the screen on a phone. How can I help you, bro? You're trading off of a phone. Like, I can't satisfy everybody, bro. It's really hard for me to follow what you're doing on a phone. Well, maybe watch me on an iPad or a computer. Homeboy trying to trade off his Motorola Razr. And then try to blame me for it. You're not creating a conducive environment for success. How is that my fault? Yeah, get a bigger phone. Pro Max. It's crazy. He wants me to zoom in on the computer and make it unbearable for the rest of y'all to watch so that he can trade off the phone. Also, all jokes aside, the point of this is so that you can learn what's going on. And watch it later, replay, take notes, etc. The point is not so that you can get on a phone and hastily press some buttons when you have no idea what you're doing. I'm really more interested in you guys picking up tips, seeing somebody trade live. How do they stay patient? Where do they enter? Where do they exit? You entered a long put on NASDAQ? No, I'm trading futures. So NASDAQ futures, I entered a long. A long put means you're shorting the market, FYI. So that wouldn't be great. Yeah, it was like 800 in, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes. Appreciate you, Tyler. This is not yet a short, ladies and gents. All right, let's take a look at some stocks here. Too bad on gold. That would have been another fire trade, but not optimal. I needed it to come to my entry to make it optimal. Woof! Coin. God damn, 15%. I'm going to get my shares called. Holy hell. I have the 230 covered calls because I was running the wheel strategy on coin. So if by May, let's see. Where did I sell the coin shares? The 230 cover call expiring May 23rd. So not this Friday, but next Friday. If coin is above 230, my shares get called. My shares go to the devil. No, I was just running the wheel. So I got assigned at 192. Would let my shares go at 230 plus what I sold the option for, so 235. So that'd be a nice 22% gain for running the wheel. If it's below 230, then I keep my shares, keep the money, and I'll sell another call. Is Tesla setting up? Not yet. Man, if Tesla gets this retracement down to 300, swing. I'm just waiting patiently on Tesla. Do you have SPY calls? No, I have SPY shares and QQQ shares. I don't have options yet. Poor Google. Google's just in it's for 4 days. It's trading in the same candle. By the way, this is a potential long here off this gap. Do you ever roll to a later on the calls you sell? Yeah. Take a look at UNH. You might like it. What would I like about a falling knife? Yeah, bro, I really like this. I'm trying to stick my hand on the fucking stove. Really like it, bro. No, this is the type of chart you avoid. Look at this. This is United Healthcare since 2008 on the weekly chart. Look at this. The hell? You don't want to catch a falling knife, bro. Eventually, I will enter it, but you don't want to catch a falling knife. I think XLV is a much better proposition. So the healthcare sector of the S&P 500, if that gets down to this trend line in the mid 120s, I'm all in. Not all in, but I'm picking it up for sure. Do you think we'll be back to 6K for the SPY? Dude, we're trading at 58.60. Can the market go up another 140 points? Yeah. The fuck? This guy's asking if I think we can get another 2% on the S&P. Bro, one fucking Trump tweet will get you 2%. Oh, HIMS is another one. Hell yeah. We're up on HIMS quite a lot. This is less than 2% of my portfolio, so it is a smallish position for me. But I think HIMS is a double up in the next year and a half or so. Too much attitude in here? You need to see a shrink? No, bro. I don't need to see a shrink. It's called 6 in the morning entertainment while giving you guys fire-ass trades. If you're taking it too seriously, you need to see a shrink. Imagine getting butt hurt by jokes on a YouTube stream, while this person is also attempting to make money for you. Very weird behavior, sir. This guy's name is Ibn Jacknoff? Ibn Jackoff. Bro, that's an interesting name. Ibn Jackoff. Sheikh Ibn Jackoff. How do I kindly tell my Indian friend to stop asking me for trades and study instead? Tell him, don't tell me to fuck, yaar. I tell you to fuck. And then hopefully he gets the point. Ibn Jackoff says you're getting a bit defensive, bro. Ibn Jackoff. Consider a name change. There are people in some parts of the world that will clown you for this name. Come on, give us another trade. For those of you that are not hip to Arabic naming conventions, Ibn Jackoff means son of Jackoff. ES did not take data high yet. No, it's about one tick away. But what I need to see here after successfully longing NQ is what is the potential draw on liquidity. We already marked out the weekly high or the weekly fair value gap on NQ. I don't know that we get there today. Certainly could. But I cannot take another trade until we get a liquidity purge. Oh, I could see a possibility here. Jack off the first of his name. King of the Andals, first of his name. I can see where that high oh shit, that's March high. March high. Okay, this is important, guys. All jokes aside, this is important. So March high if we sweep March high in this fair value gap, March high for NQ is all the way up here. NQ will have been at OTE on the fib. Or sorry, ES will be at OTE on the fib, and so will NQ. Okay, I like that thesis. I think my drawn liquidity here is 21,327.50 on NQ. When your coin shares are called away, do you need to close those calls you sold with a loss? No, I keep the money. You're not at a loss. The calls that you sold expire worthless. You keep the premium, and your shares get called away at 2:30. What is Soxal at right now? Holy shit. We bought Soxal at $7 and change. It's currently trading at 18. Let me check the portfolio. The frustrating thing with these types of markets that, you know, tank without any sort of retracement is that they can also go up without any sort of retracement. So if you wanted to add some shares or whatever, it's very tough without a retracement. Oh yeah. Portfolio new high today. Let's go. Yeah, I'm waiting for SOXL to give us a retracement similar to what it did here in 2022. You finally get a retracement, and this is on the weekly chart, so these retracements are big deals. It just, on the day-to-day, it seems like we're never going to get a retracement. I'm going to set an alert on ES at that March high. Yeah. And then I'm going to look at some stocks here. Potentially take some options trades. You can't buy Soxal in Europe, even on Interactive Brokers? Shut up. Is this true? No. I think Tesla's going to 370 in June. Easy 370 in June. FSLR up 17%. What do you think about solar stocks? I'm not in it, so whoop-de-doo. It doesn't excite me if something's up that I'm not in. What's the point of chasing price? Not possible in Germany? Can you trade on Interactive Brokers in Germany? Wow, NVIDIA making such a nice comeback here. Amazon too. Holy shit. Julia Trevino, good job. You must be qualified as a professional first. How hard is it to qualify as a professional? All right. We had one trade so far, and I'm looking to give you guys another one. Ibn Jackov, calm down, bro. You seem unhinged. Is the only thing here a continuation trade? I went short on NASDAQ? Really? What's the thesis? I wouldn't short NQ here, dude. We didn't reach a high time frame objective. Is ASML a buy right now? I think you missed the boat. But look into the company. What do you like about it? You're not picking apples. You're buying companies. But yeah, I mean, ASML is a monopoly in the space. And if we break out of this weekly range here, yeah, I think ASML is a clear winner here, going to 900 to 1,000 per share, in my opinion. What positions do you have at the moment? Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Google, NVIDIA, Apple, ASML, HIMS, Toyota, SPY, QQQ, SOXL. I don't have Microsoft. Coin. And that pretty much sums up the portfolio. A little bit of Hershey's. All long positions? Yes. All long positions. And I did have a hedge that I rolled out yesterday on my portfolio, I had a 10% hedge on my portfolio that I had to roll out yesterday, another month, so I don't get eaten up by theta. Other than the hedge, which in hindsight, still at the level that I hedged at, was a great hedge that I would do every time, but certainly that hedge is now down. But as I said, the point with hedges is you want your portfolio to beat your hedges. You don't want your hedge to win. So it's like insurance. Aside from that hedge, all my positions are long, yes. No NVIDIA. I said NVIDIA. ES not stopping. I said what the objective was. I'm waiting for March high on NQ. Oh, and I have Uber too. I have Uber. Oh, shit. We hit 90. All-time high, boys and girls. All-time high, boys and girls. I need to put it up in this. Oof. $90 on Uber. My price target, honestly, was around $100. Now, with Uber, my thesis is that it might drop a bit after Tesla Robotaxi, depending on the announcement. And that would be an opportunity to pick it up. Tesla Robotaxi event is in June, but no official date yet. NASDAQ is dropping. Dude, stop overreacting to every tiny candle. All right. We're in the weekly fair value gap on NQ. I still think, in ES, I still think NQ is going to touch March high at 21,333. If you miss the long, doesn't mean go short. Man, sometimes people say shit a lot simpler than me, and they come through with so much common sense, and I really appreciate them for it. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Just because you missed the long doesn't mean go short. That's so true. I just bought APLD dip because I like pain. Yeah, you don't need to buy bullshit derivatives like that. Concentrate on ownership, dude. Buy the stock. No selling puts. Yeah, definitely don't sell puts on green days. You're selling puts at the worst time. Guys, hit that thumbs up if you want another trade. I already gave you guys a fire-ass trade. Short CL? What is it? Do you guys just see pumps and want to short? That's it? You just see like insane pumps and think short? You need to switch that thinking, dude. Why didn't you take the CL short? Because it did not hit my optimal area. The hell? It's crazy how the retail brain works. I'm going to tell you where this comes from. This comes from grocery store mentality, right? It comes from wanting to find a bargain mentality, right? So if something is too expensive, they think that they're going to find a bargain on the short. If something is too cheap, like United Healthcare, and it's dropping and it's a falling knife, they think, oh, this is now a buy because it's a discount, as if it's a fucking Halloween costume on the day after Halloween in Target, right? It's grocery store mentality. It's bullshit. Constantly looking for a counter trade on a major trending day is how you're going to get broke. So where is that? Why aren't you a fan of ETFs? What the hell are you talking about? I have SPY, QQQ, SOXL, SOXX. I'm looking at XLV. What do you mean? Why am I not a fan of ETFs? What do you think those things are? What goes up must come down. Yeah, if you're fucking Dr. Seuss. Coin cover calls have juicy premium. Unfortunately, I'm already in a cover call from before this pump. But yes, if you're not in it, sure. Hassan Bezzi. Bro, I know quite a few people with that family name. I wonder if you guys are related. What about CCs on hymns? I don't want to step in front of that right now. And I think Hims has a very bright future ahead of it, so I don't want to give up my shares that easily. All right, let's see. I wonder if there's a short on RTY. Whoops. We saw a lot of those 370 calls come in for Tesla yesterday. I'm monitoring Tesla today to see if we get even more of those calls. Is this still live? No, bro, you're in the Matrix. Hell yeah, Chief Truck a lot. Good job, man. We still haven't taken data high on RTY. We did on YM. And it's definitely a lot weaker than the rest of the indices. Tesla was a great buy at 220. Yeah, that's when I bought it. It wasn't a secret. I made video after video on it and obviously got a lot of clowning for it too. I'm guessing at this point, I'm not even in a trade, dumb fuck. I'm not guessing. This is called waiting for a trade. BZ. Let's see. Let's look at BZ real quick. Oh shit. BZ's got some songs uploaded. Let's hear BZ's music. Are y'all ready for this? I want y'all to vote. Is BZ's music gonna bang or not? Let's see.
Now I'm popping, bitch, I got options. Told my old hoes they could get the walking. Never stopping on the broke, bitch can tell me nothing. Tell me nothing. Hey, bitch, now I'm popping, bitch, I got options. Told my old hoes they could get the walking. Never stopping on the broke, bitch can tell me nothing. My new bitch, steady calling. Light brown skin, yeah, you know I'm fucking. Got it steady jumping when I throw the money. Anything I need, yeah, bitch is coming. I'm hungry for this shit, bitch, I'm grubbing. Now I'm popping, bitch, I got options. Told my old hoes they could get the walking. Never stopping on the broke, bitch can tell me nothing. My new bitch, steady calling. Light brown skin, yeah, you know I'm fucking with niggas. Beat tripping off of nothing, crying over a thought, bitch. That steady sucking, a nigga dick. Yeah, you steady love. you simping.
What do you guys think? He uploaded this 5 years ago. I don't know, bro. What is it? It looks like you got a tampon string hanging from your chin. You couldn't Photoshop this shit out? Not bad, not bad. I got to give credit to the producer. Rapping is kind of ass, but I got to give credit to the producer. He saved your ass on that one. Unless you made the beat, then props. Three out of 10. I guess that's why he only uploaded 5 years ago. And never again. Beezy, upload more music, bro. Steady sucking. All right, let's see if we can find a trade. He escaped. He didn't want his music to get cooked. Ay, ay, ay. I cannot touch NQ until it hits that 21,333 level, which I think is an inevitability. It is at OTE now. Yeah, I think it gets to 21,330 around there. Did you see my question? With all due respect, I have no idea who you are, bro. 21,349? Let me look real quick. The March high on the daily candle is 21,327.50. Same on the weekly. 21,327.50. I might want to short YM here soon. Took out that high. Took out that high. Yeah, this is a nice short here. I wonder if we can get down to 830. We're at OTE. Should I add another contract here? $42, $315. I wonder if we can get down to 830 on YM. That would make it a 5-figure day if I add up the NQ win. My stop is at break even here. I'm going to let this one ride. I'm going to go get some more coffee. 1 second. Any multi-day strategies? I'll let you know. You ever check the Russell? Yeah, I trade RTY sometimes. 1 second, I'll be right back. I don't chop around here. What should I do? Options on chat? Have no idea what that means. Seems like they're going to push the market the rest of the day. We have targets, and if those targets are met, then that's when you look and recalibrate. But I cannot touch the indices here until we get a touch of that target that I talked about, the March high, or you get a market structure shift, right? Like if you start breaking structure, then you have a potential short, but you can't just willy-nilly the market. Hell yeah, let's go. Keep going. I'm going to take profit at OTE 42,345. Right there, which is also at 830. If we put the nut there, will it work this time? Let's go touch it. Touch the nut. Second scalp long in YM. Okay. No, don't close above that. Do not close above that fair value gap. Is Hims a good short? My God. My God. What is it like, honestly, what is it with looking at a chart like this and thinking short? It's up 10% today. 10-year yields around 4.48. I'll have to go look at it. 1 second. I'm trying to see if we can touch the nut. Oh my God, bro. I'm like 2 ticks away. Go! Nut! Nut achieved. All right. Hell yeah. So, had 800 on NQ in the morning. Another 350 on YM. It's a pretty good day. Tickle the taco. All right. Let me look at Hims, okay? You want to short this because it's up. It must go down. Guess what? The market can rip your face off. You need a setup. You need a setup, okay? You cannot short something off of feeling. You cannot short something because you think you're smart. You cannot short something because you think this is a grocery store and the price has just gone up so much that you're getting a bargain on a short. You cannot short because of those reasons. Here's how you set up a trade. We went to my objective. We rejected from my objective. We confirmed a market structure shift lower, broke and retested a level that I was looking at, and then I took it short. Looking at this and being like, I'm going to short this, yoink. Off of what? Like, you don't think that everyone and their mom can see this? You think that you're just somehow smarter than everybody? That things are going to... This is how short squeezes happen. This is how moves like this happen. Because everyone is looking at it thinking, I'm going to short. Okay. Step in front of the train. Now, say that you're looking at this, right? And you actually start developing a thesis. Here's the 4-hour fair value gap from February. We're in the 4-hour fair value gap. We mitigated it. You go to the lower time frame. Can you please have a look at Mr.? No. Tell me what you want me to look at. And we're in that 4-hour fair value gap. We're about to create a 5-minute market structure shift lower, right? Say that we create this right here would be the market structure shift below this green candle. We break that and retest it. Sure, you could take it short, but don't just look at a chart that's up so much and think that you're somehow going to be right and that somehow you've outsmarted the market. That's how you burn holes in your pocket. RSI has nothing to do with anything, guys. RSI is, again, how you burn a hole in your pocket. Look at this. Look at the RSI. The RSI back in January was overbought at 33. It was overbought at 40. It was overbought at 45. It was overbought at 50. It was overbought at 70. How is that going to help you? When the RSI hit overbought, it gained 100%. How is that going to help you? I'm just being real with you guys. I'm trying to establish good habits for you. You won't hear anybody being this real with you because they're trying to sell you a dream. This shit is hard. Respect it. And you'll have a chance of success. Treat it like a casino or a hobby or an interest or funsies or something you do when you're bored or a quick side hustle, and you're going to get burned. I hope, honestly, like I hope that helps you. Okay. So, longed NQ in the morning, shorted YM in the late morning. Let's see if we can find another trade, guys. This is exactly how trading is. I'm on here. I've been on here for 2 hours, and I took 2 trades. Sometimes I'll be on here for 2 hours and take no trades. My setup has to show up. If you guys want me to explain the NQ long in the morning or the YM short now, I'll be happy to explain it if enough of you ask. I don't want to waste most of your time, but if you guys are interested, I'll be happy to go over the trades. ES, yeah, ES definitely weaker than NQ. We did hit a high time frame objective on ES, weekly fair value gap, OTE of the fib. We do have a high time frame objective. If I do short one, it'll be ES, not NQ. I think we might get a short on ES. And for those of you that are uninitiated, ES is the S&P 500. So I get asked all the time, why don't I day trade options? It's because day trading options sucks. I like swing trading options. I don't like day trading options. Because say that I took a short on SPY puts, right? And price drops a little, then comes back up. All of a sudden, I'm down 15%, 20%, depending on the expiration, right? If I took a short on ES and it came back up, I'm exactly break even. So futures is way more exact, and it's funny that people somehow are attracted to options thinking it's easier. Futures is way easier than options. All it is buy or sell. There's no complex orders. There's no iron condor. There's no put spreads. There's no theta. There's no IV crush. There's no nothing. It's just buy. If price is higher, you're making money. Sell. If price is lower, you're making money. That's it. There's no Greeks. There's no Black Skulls model. All right. I'm going to explain both trades for you right now. So with NQ in the morning, here was the exact trade. I'm going to have to go into replay trading for this. We had data highs, which was CPI, right? Data highs is a form of liquidity, a very strong form of liquidity. So how do I know that? This is the 830 candle, data highs, and CPI was released at 830. We had divergence where NQ made a lower low, ES made a higher low. That's called bullish divergence, right? Lower low. ES for the same exact range made a higher low. We broke above. We broke market structure, which means this right here is a breaker, right? This was the last lower high. We broke structure, and then on the very next candle, tapped that breaker. So when you have a breaker and a fair value gap, this is called a unicorn, right? So liquidity sweep forms our trade. SMT, nice confluence. Break of structure, confluence, part of the entry model. Tap into the breaker, also formed a fair value gap, nice confluence. Targeting opposing liquidity, data highs. That was the trade. That was the long. Simple, right? But everything is framed off of the liquidity sweep. SMT is nice confluence. Break of structure. Formed a unicorn with the breaker. Tapped into the breaker to all-time highs. I mean to to data highs. Sorry. Who are you using for charts? TradingView. Yes. So that was the first trade. Second trade. Let me get off replay real quick. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Second trade. Also, everything is framed off of liquidity. If you're in the Discord and you look up in the education section, I have a entry model PDF. I'm trying to find her for you. this. These are the entry models that I trade, 3 entry models, right? But everything starts with a liquidity sweep. You don't have a trade if you don't have a liquidity sweep. And if you're in the Discord, this is in the education section, so just go there. But this was the data highs. Remember, data highs is an extremely important form of liquidity, especially if we're talking about CPI, FOMC, the really high impact news, unemployment rate, PPI. These were the data highs. Look at this. We swept it, right? We swept data highs. We closed below this IFVG, right? So if we go to the, where is it? IFVG model, right? Buy side or sell side sweep. This is buy side because if you think of resistance is buy side, support is sell side, right? I'll explain why that is if you guys want. But buy side sweep, we're in a kill zone. Price bypasses a fair value gap to create an IFVG. Here is the fair value gap. We completely ran through it, created an IFVG, an inverse fair value gap. Now, there are a few ways to take this trade. You can short it the minute that we close below the IFVG. But for me, and this is the discretionary part of the trading, if we close so far below it, I don't typically short from there. If we closed here, I will take that short. I'll just mark it in a sell order. But I took the short when we traded back into it, right? Targeting opposing liquidity. So we already swept liquidity here. That means we are going down to sweep liquidity on the opposing side. What is liquidity on the opposing side? There's a few things here. We have 8:30 a.m., 9:30 a.m. We have this internal low, right? So entered off this short, targeting opposing liquidity. Remember, we want to ask, where is price coming from and where is it going to? Price is coming from here. Is this a buy side sweep? Yes. Did we confirm an entry model based on my entry models? Yes. This one is called the IFVG model. Tapped into it. Short, targeting opposing liquidity. You can go for low hanging fruit at 2-to-1. Right? If you entered off here, 2-to-1 would be here. 2-to-1 is fine. You could target 8:30. You could target this low here. And you can see that where we took liquidity below this intraday low. You don't have to get it perfect. You just need a narrative. You cannot just say, I'm shorting because it looks like a short, or I'm shorting because it ran up. You need a narrative, and it all starts with the liquidity sweep. And by the way, I go through and I teach this stuff live in our mastermind. So the next time that you see a mastermind sign up, make sure that if you want to learn, you take advantage of it, because I teach this stuff live. It's not a recorded course. Thank you for the lesson. You're very welcome. The only person to say thank you. Interesting. All good. We are ripping. Yes, we are ripping. But guys, frame it. Frame the narrative. Where are we ripping to? March highs. That's why those of you a few of you on here that are trying to short this, you need an objective to short. Wait until we tag that. I have my alert set there in TradingView. So it's going to text me or ping me on the screen when we get there. You're very welcome, guys. You're welcome. I hope it helped. Leave a thumbs up if it helped. Need to watch this on repeat? Well, luckily you can. Do you always operate with SMT? No, it's just an added confluence. When I see it, then it gives me confidence that what I'm looking at might work out. So we have SMT here now on, if you look at NQ versus ES, right? ES on the left, NQ on the right, both 5-minute charts. What do you notice here? NQ making a lower high, ES making a higher high. Now it's important to note SMT does not mean you have an entry. SMT is not an entry model. It's just a confluence. So I still need a liquidity sweep, break of structure, retest into the breaker or into the fair value gap, things that I normally look for. And then SMT gives me added confirmation. So, whether you decide to go heavier on your position because you have SMT, or it might be the tiebreaker, meaning if you're kind of wondering whether you should enter, everything is there. The SMT might give you that extra push. But it's not a reason to enter, if that makes sense. Like SMT does not give you an entry model. It's just confluence. Yeah, I don't know how else to get this rating guide to you guys that are not Discord members. If you're in the Discord, just go to the education section. You'll see it. I don't know. I may try to give it out on Instagram or Twitter if you're not a Discord member. So make sure you're following me on both of those platforms, Instagram and X, and I'll find a way to give it out. Yeah, I think hymns. Might pull back to this gap here. This gap between 52 and 55. I'm in the Discord. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, if you go to the Discord, I'll show you where it is. Go to education, and here's a lot about entry models and stuff right here. It's the post from October 7th. It's that A+ trade rating guide PDF. Hims might be a $200 billion company in the next 5 years. Maybe sooner than that. Oh, you can hear that? Yeah, that's why I was looking outside. There's gardeners in the area. It's only a $12 billion company. Interesting. And it has better financials than Palantir. So 579 million in net income. No, it doesn't have better financials than Palantir. It's a better valuation than Palantir, but it doesn't have better financials. So I take that back. Let's see, the US 30-year. Oh my Lord. We almost hit 5 today. Fuck me. 4.96. They're going to have to do something about this. Stock market is ripping. Everyone's happy. We are getting near the danger zone again. So back in January, 30-year touch 5. After Liberation Day, 30-year touch 5. This is when Trump did the 90-day pause, this exact day. And we are now heading towards there. My God, there's no respite for yields. I wonder if the VIX hovers in this high teens range and doesn't go to the low, 12, 11, where we were last year because of yields. This is going to be very interesting to see how this gets handled. Where's the link to join the Discord? In the description, fam. Where else would it be? Here, I'll post it to the top of the chat. There. It's now pinned to the top of the chat. Fed needs to cut. Yeah, especially with, I agree, Julia, especially with the CPI coming in lower than expected today. I mean, yeah, slightly lower than expected. It's hovering in that 2% range. And then core PCE came in at 0% last time. I don't know what else they're waiting for besides they're waiting to see the labor market. So we still have quite a bit of inflation news. Oh, and by the way, guys, don't forget that Powell talks Thursday. So tomorrow, not a lot of news. Thursday, which I will likely be going live for again on YouTube. PPI at 8:30, retail sales at 8:30, unemployment claims at 8:30, and then homeboy Jerome at 8:40. God damn, he's looking to get right ahead of that shit. He's going to have all of the latest inflation data right before he takes a stage. I wonder if he'll have like 2 copies of a speech. One, if inflation data is good, or the other, if inflation data sucks. And then depending on how it, he'll dig into the pocket, the appropriate pocket, depending on the data. What's your opinion on prop account for trading futures? Hell yeah. I think it's great. If you trade prop, we have a whole support chat in the Discord that's just for prop trading chat. So in there, obviously you get all the discounts. Right now, I think it's 80% off Apex if you use code TTT. But yeah, in terms of how to connect stuff, payouts, what's the best account to buy, etc. It's all in the prop trading chat. I think it's a great way to get your feet wet and not burn a hole in your pocket. Like I lost tens of thousands of dollars trading, learning how to trade in the beginning. With prop, you don't. You can lose just hundreds of dollars, but a prop account will cost you less than $40 if you use a coupon code. right? And you can practice on that. If you pass it, you get funded. There's a chance to make money, so it's not just paper trading. Yeah, I think prop trading is awesome. Okay, we're almost at that March high on NQ. And I want to see if this SMT stays in effect, this divergence. Now, there is a risky long from here. I'm 2 for 2 on trades today. Oof. There's a risky long from here in the premium to ride NQ up to that 21,326 level. But that's my draw on liquidity. Unless we, break structure here and retest it, then I'll likely be short. How long did it take you to be profitable? I talked about this in the beginning of the stream. About 3 years to be inconsistently profitable. Meaning I'm not losing my ass. I'm winning, not winning as much as I want. It is kind of inconsistent. It's not a consistent income, but I'm over the hump of losing my ass every time I turn on the computer, and I'm slightly in the green, but I'm still prone to taking stupid trades, still prone to tilting. I take green too fast. I mess around with my stop limit. I let trades bleed on occasion. But I understand my strategy. I understand my entry model. I understand what I'm doing on the chart. It's just refinement from there. So to get to that level took 3 years. And then roughly another 2-3 years to be consistently profitable, where now I'm making a nice income from trading consistently. Concerned about stock market direction? I'm never concerned about stock market direction. Razwan, do you ever run sales for your lifetime Discord? I'm usually pretty generous to people who are already in the Discord. I don't typically run sales to the general public. Maybe like Black Friday or something. But yeah, if you're part of the Discord, I generally will give someone a discount the next time that I'm running the mastermind. Yes. How did you not get emotions involved? Exposure, repetition, good habits, journaling, fixing, implementing, journaling again, fixing, implementing. It's not just turn on the computer and try to get better. Can you stream the Trump speech? Where is he talking?
Which will host the world as Saudi Arabia welcomes the FIFA World Cup in 2034. That's the iconic future project, Prince Mohammed bin Salman Stadium. And now, the journey brings the distinguished leaders to the Prosperity Hall, a celebration of enterprise and partnership. Here we have Saudi and American companies stand side by side, showcasing.
This is what you want me to stream? Bro, I'm not trying to fucking stream him taking a stroll with Mohammed bin Salman. Like, what if it's important, sure, but what am I, him just walking around a showroom? I use TradeZella for journaling. You can find a pretty fat discount in the description of the video. I think it's TTT30 for 30% off the annual membership.
Joining us now, TD Cowen President Jeffrey Solomon. We had some data this morning, a cooler than expected CPI. What do you make of what we're seeing domestically compared with this big deal-making opportunity that we're watching unfold in Saudi Arabia, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, the data today is reflective of some of the actions that the administration took early in its time after the inauguration. So I feel like, you know, some of the stuff that's happened and some of the
all right, I don't want to hear that guy. I think there's a risky but nice RR long here on NQ to get up to that 21,326. Why you say the name so accurate? Bro, I can literally do any accent on planet Earth. Why are you longing that bearish SMT? Because SMT is not an entry model. And this SMT can easily go away. Also, this SMT can still hold, right? Like, imagine ES gets there and NQ gets there. Liquidity levels over SMT, bro. Liquidity levels over SMT. James says you need a haircut. All right. You know what? Why is it always dudes that are commenting on looks? There's never a female that has a problem with the looks. It's always fuckboys. Oh, your glasses. Oh, your sweater. Oh, you look like you came from the gym. Oh, look at your hair. Oh, look at your eyes. Like why? Why? For real. I don't understand. I just don't understand the obsession. Like, if I'm watching somebody and I'm trying to learn from them, why would I care how another man looks? I find a picture of James. This is James telling me you need a haircut. No, you think it's rage bait. They be serious. Dudes get in their feelings. I promise you it's not rage bait. I know what rage bait sounds like, right? It's dudes that are like, that will say something like, you have no idea what you're doing, or ha ha ha, you're going to lose this trade, or, you know, that's rage bait. You know you're going to get a haircut now? Yeah, I'm waiting for your mom to get off work from the strip club. Actually, she's about to walk out right now. It's 8 a.m. She should be done with the all-nighter. So I'm just waiting. I'm a nice guy. I'm giving her time to rest. Take her heels off. Soak her feet in the bathtub. And then when she tells me she's ready, I'm going to hop over there and she'll give me a haircut. So you're right. You're right. I am going to go get a haircut now. Capital requirement for futures. If you trade on a prop firm, you don't need capital. You could just buy an account. Yeah, that NQ long is going to work out. I think it goes to that target right there. What? Do you copy all of your trades to your prop accounts? Yeah. Yeah, certainly. Why do you think the NQ long is risky? Because you're longing in a premium. You generally want to long in a discount and short in a premium for the most optimal trades. What is the most you have lost in a month? That's an irrelevant question, because the richer you are over time, the more absolute dollars you can lose, but it might constitute a much smaller percentage of your portfolio. So in the beginning, when my account wasn't that big, a $10,000 loss in a month was a huge deal to me. Now, if I lost 30,000 in a month, it's a much smaller fraction of my portfolio, right? So that is an arbitrary and moot question. Are you in a trade? No, I took 2 trades today. An NQ long and a YM short, both of them on stream. And I explained the trades in detail. How many screens do you have? 1 other screen. And when I'm traveling, I don't have it here, but I have this attachment that goes on the back of the laptop. When do you start to open more prop valuation accounts? My suggestion to people is just get 1 account for now. If you've never gotten a payout, once you get a payout, then start buying more accounts. But prove it to yourself at least once. Thoughts on TLT? What kind of thoughts? What do you think about YM Long? Did you build a trading PC? No, I have a MacBook Pro Maxi Pad something. I don't know. Actually, I think this is still an M1. M1 Max. MacBook Pro M1 Max. Maxed out. Full memory. Highest video card option. Because I trade a lot when I travel, so I need a good laptop.
That must be involved in today's event, but he has gotten the nickel tour, and we'll be looking for his remarks, we believe, sometime, imminently, if not within the hour.
Soon, very, very soon. All right, so we're also getting April Boeing orders and deliveries. So while we watch this unfold in Riyadh, let's also get to Phil LeBeau and get those numbers. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Contessa, we always talk about orders and deliveries, but really the focus is on deliveries and the numbers. April was the second best, tied for the best month of the year, along with January in terms of deliveries. 45 planes delivered, including 2 to Chinese airlines, before the Chinese said, well, we're not sure we're going to take deliveries. That's all unfolding still, as though there are reports now that they may start to resume deliveries. Year to date, deliveries of 175 planes. The MAX is the focus here. April deliveries, 29 MAXs were delivered. Remember, production is currently capped at 38 per month. Year-to-date deliveries of the MAX, 133. As for net orders, as you take a look at shares of Boeing over the last year, net orders last month, 8 planes. That brings the backlog to 5,643 planes. And there's a new order today, so it's not included in these numbers. Boeing logging an order.
I wouldn't long YM here. Not that I don't think it's going up. There isn't an entry there. I think this long on NQ works out. No, I have the max memory, max video card. I got this I think in 2021, and it runs like a champ, thank God. So I have the streaming going on. I have Thinkorswim. I have NinjaTrader running on Parallels in Windows with multiple prop accounts. I even have Spotify up for absolutely no reason whatsoever. I have OBS running because of the stream. Zero problems. Did you already enter the NQ? Yes, I entered it in NinjaTrader on my other screen. All right, guys. Awesome day streaming. For those of you in the Discord, I'll see you in there. I won't go live today in the Discord. I will be live trading on chat, but I'm not going to go live again today. I will see you live tomorrow morning in the Discord. Thursday, I will be streaming on YouTube, likely for PPI. Maybe. I do have something to do in the morning, so we'll see. I might. But yeah, for those that were asking about the Lifetime Mastermind, if you're already in the Discord, hit me up. I'll give you a discount the next time that we run the Mastermind. I'd set this NQ trade here to break even. Target is at 21,327. I think it goes there. That's my draw on liquidity for the day. But I would set the trade to break even though. You should be up like $1,200 per contract on this. Yeah, $1,200 per contract. And yeah, if you want to trade with me live every day, come check us out. Join. Link is in the description. I appreciate you. Glad we made some money today. And I'll see you on the next one or in the Discord. Peace.